Greertv, what's going on? I'm here back once again. It's been a long time since I talked to y'all, but hey, I'm back. And so, I want to give y'all the new segment that I want to do for y'all. It's called 80s Movies. Are y'all ready for this one? One of my favorite movies from the 80s is a movie called Weird Science. Y'all remember this movie? I remember this movie. This is probably one of the funniest movies that I ever grew up watching in my life. It was in the early 80s. So I'm going to take you through it. If you've never seen it, this is going to be a treat for you. If you have seen it, let's take a trip down memory lane and talk about Weird Science, shall we? Weird Science is a movie about a couple of nerds by the name of Gary and Wyatt. Gary and Wyatt are just at the most miserable point in their lives. They're in high school. They're just the most awkward young men that you could ever think of, man. And the movie opens with Gary and Wyatt looking in on the girls' gym class, the gymnastics class, and they're fantasizing about what their lives would be like if they were popular. And without fail, there's two bullies. There's always two bullies in an 80s movie. When you have nerds, there's always going to be bullies. And that's when the bullies show up and they do a dastardly deed towards our friends Gary and Wyatt.
Man, we're hip, man. We're popular. We're the beer. Yeah. We're studs. When the smoke clears, right? Those 2 days fall amazingly, completely, and totally in love with us, Wyatt. Check it out. Yo! Check us out!
Absolutely terrible. Terrible. But as always, nerds go home and they regroup. And just one night they're hanging out and Gary asks Wyatt, hey, listen, man.
Look, you know how you're always talking about how you can simulate all that stuff on your computer? You know? What's the difference? Why can't we simulate a girl?
I don't know, I guess I could, but why? It's two-dimensional on the screen. It's not flesh and blood, Gary.
Well, I know that, but you know, we can use it. Why? We can ask it questions. We can put it in real life sexual situations and see how it reacts. Like real sick, demented shit. You'd love it.
Now, how can you do that? Well, it's the 80s. It's an 80s movie. You can do whatever you want. You can make a full woman, breathing, living woman on a computer in the 80s. You can do that. So they put together their brains and they put together all these perfect characteristics of the perfect woman that they think they should make. And then they create Lisa. Lisa is the perfect woman that they made from the computer. And she has superpowers. She can recreate situations. She can stop time. She can do everything. She can do anything. She's got special powers. And what do teenage boys do when they create a woman? Well, yeah, you get a chance to see what the first thing they do with her when they created her. But she says, guys, I'm going to take you out on the town. I'm going to take you out on the town. And the place that Lisa takes Gary and Wyatt to, their first night out on the town, is probably not ideal for a young white teenage boy. It's absolutely brilliant. But if you watch the movie, you see it doesn't take Gary too much for him to settle in to his surroundings. Wyatt either.
Fast, man. Let me tell you my story, man. Last year, I was insane for this crazy little 8th grade bitch. Okay?
Crazy? Insane?
Insane? Crazy?
I was nuts for the woman, man. Now you gotta believe me. I'm telling the truth here. I'm speaking to you. I mean, I was nuts for the girl.
And what did it to me was these big titties she had. For a 13-year-old girl, man, she wouldn't have had to worry about no titties for the rest of her life, boy. You know, she was set and she was looking good, son.
That's the truth, baby.
It's a great scene in the movie. Gary and Wyatt's first time going to a bar, and this is where Lisa takes them, you know? It's great. It's great. But their good time is cut short. Their good time is cut short because they have to deal with Chet. Now, Chet is Wyatt's older brother, who's he's in the military, or he goes to military school. I can't remember which one it is, but Chet is probably my favorite character in this entire movie. I love Chet. Everybody knows somebody who has an older brother like Chet. But he makes sure that Gary and Wyatt are as miserable as they can possibly be every moment of their lives.
You two donkey dicks couldn't get laid in a morgue.
You're right. You are absolutely.
You're absolutely right.
Get him out of here.
You're absolutely
Never.
right.
Get him.
Hey, what?
Doug. Come on. Cold-blooded shit. He's an asshole. Look at his haircut. Anybody with a haircut like that, you know he's an asshole.
And so Lisa decides that she's going to do something about this. She doesn't like the way the nerds are being treated by Wyatt's older brother. And so you see her get some get back for Gary and Wyatt very quickly. You'll find. And so the movie just goes on, and she's teaching Gary and Wyatt about life. And, you know, you're okay. You know, you might be geeks, you might be nerds to some people, but you give these bullies the power. That's what I loved about this movie so much. It's just like all it took was this woman to come along and show them, through some magical powers, to show them, hey, don't let these cats push you around. And she meets, one of my favorite scenes of the movie is when Gary, played by Anthony Michael Hall, he takes Lisa, this woman that they've created, takes her to meet his parents. This is another monumental moment in the movie. He takes Lisa home to meet his parents, and they're talking to her, and Lisa is very frank, very, very frank with Gary's parents.
Right, ready, honey. I think that means party. Party. You know, there's gonna be sex, drugs, rock and roll, chips, dips, chains, whips. You know, your basic high school orgy type of thing. I mean, I'm not talking candle wax on the nipples or witchcraft or anything like that. No. Just a couple of 100 kids running around in their underwear, acting like complete animals.
It's incredible. I love it. I love it to death. But Lisa has the ability to erase memories. She can stop time. Like I said, she can just make everything okay. And as time goes on, she encourages Gary and Wyatt to throw a party. It's the best party that anybody's ever been to, because she's Lisa, and if she invites people, they're going to come. This takes place in Wyatt's home. There's approximately, what I could gather, is probably a couple, 200-300 teenagers in this house, wreaking havoc, just partying and having a good time. And to the two girls that Gary and Wyatt were in love with throughout the movie, they take notice of Gary and Wyatt, and the bullies who have these, they're the girlfriends of the bullies that we see earlier in the movie. So they decide they're going to make a trade with Gary and Wyatt. I tell you what, if you make us, or if you give us Lisa, this incredible woman that you built, we'll give you our girlfriends, the girlfriends that you've been chasing the entire movie. And there's a twist to the movie. Lisa creates a situation where she forces Gary and Wyatt to step up and handle their business and not be nerds and not be geeks or wimps anymore. And it all plays out. And before the movie is over, Chet comes home to realize that the house is completely trashed. And not only does he come home, he comes home with a shotgun. With a shotgun, yo.
Chet. That's her nose. Come on, now look, she has nothing to do with it. Okay. You die. She walks out of here with a severe limp. I'll be back. This is why I told the brother Chet. He's kind of an asshole.
You'll see that in the movie. But when it's all said and done, Lisa sticks it to Chet, the big bully. And when it's all said and done, she tells Gary and Wyatt, hey, listen, you guys are on the right path now. My work is done here. And then Lisa goes back to whatever realm or wherever the hell she came from. They never even said where she came from. But she goes back to where she came from, and Gary and Wyatt's lives are better and happily forever after and all that good shit. So, Weird Science, man, please, if you're from the 80s and if you claim to be an 80s baby and you have not seen this movie, please go watch this movie. You're missing out on life, all right? But yeah, that's it. Greertv, Weird Science. Please go check it out. It's incredible. All right. See y'all next time. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All right. See y'all in a minute.